Okay, so for number 14, we're going to find our least common multiple. And remember, that means that it's a multiple of that number. So 24, 48, you're going more than the numbers that you have. So one of the ways you could do it, you could list out your factors, your multiples, 24, 48, and so on. 40, 80, 120. The other way you could do it, though, is by that ladder method that we talked about. And so I'm going to look at these two numbers. They're both even, so I'm going to factor out a 2. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 40 divided by 2 is 20. And then they're both even, so I can divide out a 2 again. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Again, both even. I can divide out by another 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So there's no duplicates on the bottom, and they're all prime, so I'm going to make my L. And my least common multiple is going to equal 2 times 2 times 2. So I'm just going down the side here. Times 3 times 5. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 times 5. If you don't know what that is, you need to do that old school because we're not lazy. So 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 2 is 120. So your least common multiple is equal to 120. So that means that 120 can be divided by 24, and 120 can be divided by 40 evenly. And then on the next one, again, I'm going to make that ladder way. They're all even, so I can divide out a 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 48 divided by 2 is 24. 56 divided by 2 is 28. All even again, so I'm going to divide out a 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 28 divided by 2 is 14. And if you're not getting these quickly, that just means we need to work on our multiplication facts, and you can always do it off to the side. Again, all even, I'm going to divide out by a 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 14 divided by 2 is 7. I still have something in common, so I'm going to divide out by a 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And I slide the 7 down. So I have primes, and I'm going to make my L. So notice that this is going to be a large number. And again, this is what you would want to do, especially if there's 3 numbers and you're trying to find the least common multiple. You don't have to put the 1 there if you can, if you want, but 3 times 7. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 3. If you didn't know what that was, you want to do that old school. So 48, and then take 48 times 7. Seven times 4 is 28, and then 28 plus 5 is 33. So your least common multiple is equal to 336. And then for this last one, what it's asking us is, it's obviously a word problem, and don't freak out. So it says the greatest common factor of 3 numbers is 3. So meaning that the numbers, the biggest thing it can be divided by is 3. The least common multiple of the same 3 numbers is 270. Okay? So to be a multiple of a number, that means you have to be able to divide evenly into that number. So if I'm going to just go through this list, so 270, I should be able to divide by 15 evenly. 270 should be able to be divided by 21 evenly. 270 should be able to be divided by 18. 270 should be able to be divided by 27. So I'm looking for the one that is not one of the numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and do 15. So 270 divided by 15. So that goes in once. Okay. And then again, if you don't see that right off the bat, you're going to want to just guess. So we'll say 10 would be too high. 9. Let's try 8. 8 times 15 gives you 120. Good. So I know that this 18, 120. So this one works. That one has to be one of the numbers. So then I'm going to divide 270 by 21. So 270 divided by 21. 21 goes into 27 one time. 6 left over. I know that's going to only have to go in 2 times. And I'm going to end up with a remainder. So because I have to add a decimal if I'm going to go further. Because this doesn't go into it evenly, 21 is the number that is not one of the 3 numbers.